Thank you, everybody, for being here. I am here to tell you that it has been critical for me to kill my mother. She is alive, but the first day of COVID, the day when we all thought we're just gonna buy some groceries and some alcohol and stay home for 2 weeks, was really the first day that my mother started to die. And I know many people lost a lot of people during COVID, so I'm sorry for that. And in a way, it feels like unfair to be killing someone who's alive when a lot of people lost people who they will really never have a chance to speak to again. But I too have lost somebody that I will no longer speak to again. On that day, kind of started out like, some family drama. Like most of us have, most of us live through. But little did I know that it was going to trigger finally dealing with my mental health. That my borderline personality disorder was real and that it was caused from the trauma that I had been raised with. And I made a choice to change it. I don't know what was more critical, killing her or changing myself. But the change is really what has led to this very moment, to be able to have so many people here that are really part of my community, because the old me is what I keep calling her, the one that really was looking for acceptance, looking for family, looking to be a better mother. She's here. She's finally here. And the one thing that I will say is that all of it has made me confident. A confidence that I thought that I was envious of. I was envious that I thought people who had good relationships with their mothers were just gonna be better. Everything was gonna be fine for them. Their mothers were gonna hold them or help them raise their children or support them through things. And it turns out that now I will be that mother. All of it wouldn't be possible without support, and that support came from my community, my husband, my child, my family, my friends. Just people who wanted me to be successful, the people who I didn't know I could do so much for me, the people who I never seeked that acceptance or confidence from. But most importantly, it came from myself. Although I'm grateful for everything and everyone, and those who know me know how grateful I am, it wouldn't have been possible without myself. A decision to change, a decision to realize that the change had to come from me, that I couldn't change anyone else. I couldn't change her. I can't change her. So instead, the best thing I could do was kill her off. There's no hope. And I think that a lot of us, or at least for myself, I was hanging on to that hope that the next call would be different, that maybe the next call would have an apology, that maybe the next call would have an explanation. But I no longer need that. And that is what was so special and important and what has caused me to make the change. It also coincides with starting a business. And I was a really, really, really angry person until just about 2 years ago, when the anger started to shift. There's something about it that also was critical to change, because I was killing myself. I was killing myself, I was killing my relationships, I was killing the ability to change. And the biggest thing that I was killing was the ability to succeed in any facet of life. So when I started Buggy Pops, it kind of came out of a need of just not wanting to work in the winter. And anybody that knows me knows I hate winter. But it actually really has allowed for there to be an opportunity to exercise all of the things that I have found to be extremely important to changing. Sure, there's a lot that happens at my therapist's office. There's a lot that happens at home, but there's a lot that happens in my interactions with people every day that show me that I can be different, that I can spread love, that I can spread empathy and love and understanding and create an experience that I never thought would be possible with a popsicle. But it's more than just a popsicle, it's a feeling. And I feel that when you come to Buggy Pops and you come have this experience, sure, it's great, it's awesome. Who doesn't love a cold, sweet treat? But you're having an exchange with me that truly comes from a place of wanting to share myself. Something that I couldn't do before because I thought everyone was out to get me. And we all know where that came from. But I thought that I couldn't trust people anymore. And that trust was just really a lack of having trust in myself and a lack of having confidence that I could change. You know, the other thing about COVID that was so important was that everybody, to me, finally, I was like, okay, everyone else is depressed. This is great. Okay, now we're all starting off in the same place. I no longer had to explain why I was so angry. Everyone else was angry. Everyone else was dealing with loss. Everyone was kind of finally in the same playing field. And it really allowed for me to come out the other side alive. And at this point, what I've realized is definitely that this doesn't end. You have to continue to work on it. And there are little things that happen all the time that remind you how much you need to work on it. There's also really big things. You know, I realized that grieving takes an entire year. To grieve my mother took me being able to go through the entire process of what each holiday would feel like, what each birthday would feel like, what each, big milestone would feel like. And through that all, I actually have empathy for her. Some days I feel indifferent, which feels pretty good, but I actually have been able to find empathy for her, which feels really, really good. And she's the one missing out. She could be here. She could be here with all of you. She's funny, y'all. She is funny. You'd love her. But she never got the tools to be a mom, and she never equipped me with the tools. It was extremely critical to change. Had that change not happened, I'm just not sure that I myself would be here to tell you about this, because I thought maybe Izzy is better off without me than having a fucked up mom like the one I had. So when I think about what truly is critical, it's really just to continue to work on myself in order to be able to give my best self. And the best is always to just keep trying harder, because the sky's the limit. There's nowhere to go. There's nowhere else to go if you don't keep trying to go to somewhere new. So we are definitely in a time where there's a lot going on in this world. There's a lot of understanding as well as a lot of misunderstanding. And I hope that all of you can think about the places where you are filled with love and understanding, and also look at the places where there is misunderstanding and open your hearts to changing that. because the change is critical. So thank you, everybody, for being here.
Back here.
Oh, right. This business thing I built. Buggy Pops is a tricycle and a cart. You can find us at East Asheville Farmers Market today from 3 to 6. North Asheville Farmers Market every Saturday from 8 to 12. If you follow us on social media, Buggy Pops AVL, I try to post where we're going to be at. We'll be pretty busy this weekend at a lot of places. But also you can find us on the menu of Wicked Weed, Funkatorium, the Montford, so many places, guys, so many places. And next year, we will have a brick and mortar.
You heard it here first. Bombshell, breaking news.
What do you do when you want to call?
What do you do when you want to call your mom?
I never want to call her anymore. That feeling has gone away. Also, I see her look at my social media. She does follow Buggy Pops, so she does know what I'm up to. But which feels good, actually. It's kind of like a big F you. I'm doing it without you. So that feels good. But I honestly, I never have the feeling to call her anymore. Yeah.
Anyone else have a question? Yes.
Do you realize how badass it is to be at the point we're at, and how much respect everyone in this room has to you?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you so much. I'm so grateful that you are all here, honestly. Like I thought maybe there'll be 20 people there. That'll be nice and intimate. And then I came here last night and saw all these chairs and I was like, oh man, this many people care about what I have to say. It felt really good. So thank you, everyone.
Of all the things to pursue in business, why did you choose Buggy Pops?
It's this person's fault. So I left Asheville. I went on a little sabbatical to Tampa, Florida, and I was eating popsicles at a place called Hippo Pops. And I ate a popsicle called, they call it coconut. And I'm that person that takes a picture of their food. And I didn't. I actually just kept the stick because it transformed me. And it just took me back to going to Puerto Rico and visit my grandma and eating something called limber. And I was like, man, I think I can make these. So I went over to Walmart. I bought some coconut milk, some cream of coconut, and I went on Amazon, where in Tampa, things come in 2 hours from Amazon. It's amazing. And I ordered a silicone tray, and I started making these popsicles and just kind of figuring out what I was going to do next. And my husband here, Ruben, was like, what if you came back to Asheville and started a popsicle business? You wouldn't have to work in the winter. And I was like, oh man, that's a great idea. So within a week, I had an LLC. I had ordered the cart, and I was testing out recipes, and I tested recipes for about 4 months. And I just figured it out. It is crazy to think that only 3 years ago, I knew nothing about dry ice, and now I could teach you an entire class about it. But yeah, it really came from a place of kind of working backwards and feeding what I needed the most, which was to take care of my health by not working in the winter. So I also live with seasonal affective disorder, and I take medication for 6 months out of the year to try to handle that. So it really has been a business built more around taking care of my mental health and making sure I'm healthy inside my warm house than angry trying to feed people. So if anybody knows me and has dealt with me in the winter, y'all know I'm not this chipper. So that is actually where Buggy Pops came from.
All right. Give a hand for Ruben for obviously he's responsible. He helped. We can have time for one more question. No? Oh, here you go. What flavor of popsicle are you most excited about? And are there any projects you're working on that you're most excited about?
We are winding down. The one flavor that I always promote is the coconut cinnamon, which is remaking basically that dessert that I ate as a kid. So it is the most nostalgic and the one filled with the most love. There's so many flavors I do love, and honestly, I don't sell anything I don't like. I've made a lot of flavors that have just gone down the drain. But right now, there's nothing in the works other than trying to survive the next 7 weeks, honestly. But hopefully next year, we will be working with a lot of local makers in doing pairings, where at our new physical space, you'll be able to pair up drinks with popsicles.
Okay. And if you look under all your chairs, you'll find a cocoa cinnamon. I'm just kidding. That would be interesting. Okay, well, that wraps it. I just want to thank Citizen Vinyl. Please put your hands together for giving us this great space. Another round of applause for Neomi, please. Yep.